Good evening. I'd like to call the Tuesday, April 25th, 2015 City of Oldsmar City Council meeting to order. If you would please rise for our invocation and our pledge that will be led by our City Attorney, Mr. Tom Trask.
Heavenly Father, may we come to understand that blessings are everywhere, that our attitudes will affect outcomes, that challenges are often gifts in disguise. May we come to trust that most things can get better with time, that our instincts and gut feelings have value, and that a positive attitude makes things go smoother. And this we pray. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, and once again, welcome. I want to apologize for we're dressed down a little bit tonight. We are on our third repair of our air conditioner, so it's a little warm sitting up here under the light. So with the exception of Councilman Saraki, we went without jackets tonight, so it could be comfortable. Once again, thank you for coming. We have the first item on our agenda tonight is the Citizens Open Forum. It allows you to address the City Council. We only have a couple of rules: that you keep it to no more than 5 minutes, that you state your name and address clearly for the record, and you can address items that are on the agenda tonight, but if it is a public hearing, if it is listed as a public hearing, we just request that you hold your comments until such time we discuss that item. Having said that, is there anybody on this side of the room that would like to address the council? This side of the room. Jerry.
Got to cheat. Jerry Custon, up Tampa Bay Chamber of Commerce, 101 State Street West. We just got a letter a couple days ago from a lady from New Jersey, addressed to you, Mayor, and I'll read it. It's a very nice letter. Dear Mayor Beavis, I would like to take this opportunity to thank some of the people of Oldsmar for helping me during a recent vacation in Florida. At around 1:30 p.m. on March 20th, I was on my way to the Tampa Bay Downs with my husband and friends when I became ill. We pulled into Oldsmar and parked just outside your Chamber of Commerce and City Hall. I didn't realize it at the time, but I was experiencing an anxiety attack and did not understand why. My husband went into the Chamber of Commerce, and a nice gentleman working there gave him a bottle of water to provide me with some relief. That was Mark Howe. My husband also went over to City Hall and tracked down the fire rescue chief, Dean O'Neill, for assistance. By that time, I was sitting on an outside bench with numbness in my hands and feet. Dean took the time to calm me down by suggesting I take deep breaths. He also called the fire rescue for further assistance. A few minutes later, Engine 54 came onto the scene, and they were great too. The crew monitored my pulse, heart rate, and blood pressure, along with checking my sugar levels, and assessed that I was probably dehydrated. Eventually, I started to relax, and my breathing slowly returned to normal. Engine 54 stayed with me until I felt better, and by the end of our conversation, I chose not to go to the hospital. I just wanted to thank the people of Oldsmar for all the help and compassion they demonstrated that day. If it weren't for all those involved, I would have ended up in the emergency room. I believe in divine intervention, and we were definitely meant to pull over in Oldsmar that day. I made it back to New Jersey the next day without further incidents, and I'm happy to say that I haven't had any further panic attacks until I got your invoice. I made that part up. If we get the chance to go to Tampa Bay Downs next year, I will make an effort to stop at Engine 54 to say hello. Thanks again. Everyone's help was greatly appreciated. Yours truly, Mary Ann Scott.
Wow. Thank you. That was really nice. And sometimes I think a lot of efforts that people do that are nice, people mean to write a letter or take a moment to thank somebody, and it was nice. And actually, everybody at the dais has this letter, so I thought it was something that everybody on the council should do. And thank you to the chamber, and thank you to Chief O'Neill for being there. I know that's your part of your job, but it's nice to do that and reach out to those. So thanks for reading.
That's what makes it a great place to live, work, and play.
Yep. Thank you.
Yep. That's awesome.
Anybody else on this side of the room? Anybody else in the room that would like to address the council? Seeing no one, will close the Citizens Open Forum. Next is the Mayor's Minute. I just want to update you on a couple of things. The National Mayor's Challenge for Water is still going on through the end of the month. You can go to mywaterpledge.com or myoldsmar.com. We are competing against cities throughout the country of similar size. We were in 3rd or 4th place. I don't know where we're at right now, but if you get a chance to do that, if you follow it all the way through, it could actually win you a car, put you in a drawing for a car. recap of a couple of events. Oldsmar Safety Harbor Relay for Life went on a couple of weekends ago, and walked a few laps to help the city's relay team build hope for necklaces. So thanks to everybody that came out, and hopefully we'll find out what the number is. Do we have a number yet on the final tally for that event, or no?
Oh, the final tally?
Yeah.
I think it was over 40,000 up to the season so far.
Okay, up to 40,000. That's awesome. Also, the annual Oldsmar Cup day at the races, which was started by former council member Janice Miller. It was great, a good turnout. I actually won the exacta on that race, so that was fun, and we got to present the trophy. And a lot of residents from the city of Oldsmar participated in that. I'm excited about this, an upcoming event that is actually tomorrow. Is happening at Tico Hall at our library on St. Pete Drive. It's the USF Capstone Environmental / Water Resource Design. And what they're going to do, they are 5 different groups from USF that have worked with our Public Works Department on a project, 5 different projects to assist the city of Oldsmar. And tomorrow they're going to come present those. It's kind of a two-way street that the city also benefits from their work, but they also, as a grade, get to benefit, which we recently just did, thanks to Councilmember Norris with the Arts Department at USF, and they really helped. They weren't even sure that we were going to pick anything from the USF Art Department and their students, but it looks like we have come to the decision, and so they're really excited. And it's always neat to see the city and our government reach out to the students, and both from elementary all the way up to college, and help them and appreciate what they do. And when they get to do a real life project and actually see it working, it's a really neat project to get them out of the classroom. So we're excited about that. I was hoping to be there in the morning, but I'm planning on getting there about 10:30. I have a PSTA board meeting. Are you going tomorrow? Are you going tomorrow? I don't know if you are. Feel free to go if you need details, even just to stop in and say hi, to thank them for being a part of the project. That'd be great. Lastly, our annual golf tournament is coming up 1 week from this Friday. It's the 16th annual City of Oldsmar Golf Tournament, held Friday, May 1st at the Eagles Golf Course in Odessa. It's a 1 p.m. shotgun. If you need information, you can go to myoldsmar.com. That wraps up the Mayor's Minute. Our next item is our Community Redevelopment Agency. We have one item on there, and that's to approve the commercial lease agreement with Smith Equity Builders Incorporated. If you would like to discuss that a little bit, Bruce.
Thank you, Mayor. The commercial lease agreement is for 2 years, and it's the former Goodrich property that is currently part of the Market Square project. As you are aware, the council approved a memorandum of understanding with Smith Equity Builders back in February, and we're currently working on a development agreement. The proposed lease was discussed at the work session last week. It doesn't really provide any income to the city. However, I would look at it as a cost avoidance, in that the property that would be utilized would be on the tax roll, which it currently is not. It would provide some additional activity and people into the CRA, and Smith Equity Builders, as the tenant, would be responsible for the maintenance and operational costs, including utilities and providing insurance. So if you have any questions or comments, I'd be happy to respond to those. I recommend approval of the lease agreement with Smith Equity Builders.
I know we discussed this in part the other day at our workshop. Does anybody have any additional questions? I think we kind of aired a lot of our concerns as to why we want to do it, you know, how locked in we are into it and things like that. So, but I don't know if there are any other questions.
Well, I still have the same concerns that I expressed in the meeting the other day. I think that, you know, we intend on being into a development agreement by the end of July. In the event that we don't end up in that agreement for whatever reason, and probably the bigger concern out of that potentially happening would be some of the uncertainties as it relates to the Swain property. That's beyond the control of Mr. Gourmet. I'm sure he'll, you know, work diligently on it, but I don't know that it makes sense for us to go ahead and issue what I would consider to be a preferred lease, unless we're know with certainty we're going to be in a development agreement, because all it does is leave it to be undone. And I would think the appropriate steps would be, let's get the development agreement, then, you know, immediately roll into the lease and off we go. But, you know, that's my concern.
Yeah, I mean, and from that perspective, I certainly hear and understand what you're saying and have some similar concerns to that. And we talked about that when I had my meeting with Bruce today, and that, if we do not enter into that, which none of us are expecting that to happen, the time frame for us to enter into any other kind of agreement with anybody else is not going to happen the next day. To me, the other part of it is with the lease agreement is, from a presence standpoint, I think it gives us a presence in the city of Oldsmar for the project, with an office. And, Mr. Gourmet indicated that if need be, he could, rent a trailer. I don't know if that makes sense. We would still have to have some kind of an agreement, I would think,
Well, he's not gonna rent a trailer
Right.
between now and the end of July because
Right.
there's no project. I mean, it's hard for him to start before we get the agreement done.
Nope, I hear you.
Mayor,
Yes.
I think this is a win-win situation for the city of Oldsmar. I absolutely love the idea of him leasing that building for 2 years so that all the council members, people that are involved in this project, can go and visit him and see what's going on and what's going to happen with this project.
Yeah.
I think absolutely this is a positive for our city.
And I agree, and I think the upside, while I appreciate the concerns, and I have the same concerns, and we mentioned these at the meeting, is to, what happens if, two things. What happens if we move forward with the development agreement, and all of a sudden we need to start, how strong are these leases? And I think we talked about that at the meeting as to, the ways to get the people out if he subleases some of the property to other people, because that was my concern, is
Sure.
we don't want to get locked into that.
Sure.
I do think that it is kind of a win that we do have a facility for somebody to be in, and I think it gives it an incentive to even work harder and, to be able to have a place, it's like going to a model center and being able to actually see and touch and feel. I mean, that's kind of my perspective on that.
I share some of the concerns that Councilmember Seidel shares, but I do agree that this is a win-win. It's been sitting for 2 years. We paid, $1.6 million for it. We've been paying all the maintenance. We've been paying all the utilities. We've been paying for everything. He's going to take over all of that. If he gets leases and subleases, we have the ability to say yes or no to who goes in there. So it's not going to be, it's going to be businesses that we want. It's an incubation place for these businesses that if they do flourish, they're going to want to stay in Oldsmar. And if we go forward with Market Square, they will want to move within Oldsmar into another space if we have to tear down and do something else with the Goodrich building. So although I understand what you're saying, Eric, I agree that it's sitting there. It's going to save the taxpayer money.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know the answer to this, and it just came to me on the fly, and Bruce can maybe answer this. I mean, is it possible that although Smith Equity is the initial one that could be in there, there might be other partners within this project that may have an interest in being in there? Is that a possibility as well? I mean,
Well, they could sublease.
Right.
It has the provision for subleasing.
Yeah,
But
that if one-
subleases, the city would have to approve.
Sure.
So that could happen.
but potentially it could be another partner that, whether it's the residential, the commercial,
It
Right.
could be, and.
I mean,
And it does signal to the building community and to all the money people out there and all the builders out there that we're serious about this.
Yeah, I mean, and from the commercial standpoint, to be able to, again, to have an office right there to again, facilitate leasing or, working forward on the project, I think, there's definitely an upside. Is there a downside? Of course, there's a downside with everything, but I feel that, at this
Mayor,
point.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve the lease with an amendment to the lease that allows for a termination clause in the event that we do not enter into a development agreement. And I'll defer to Bruce as to what a reasonable timeline is. I know July 31st is within the memo of understanding, but I think it makes sense to extend that a little bit just in case. Say the end of August.
Bruce and/or Tom, I don't know what your thoughts are on.
There's already a termination provision in the lease. It says that during the term of this lease, including any extensions, the tenant shall have the right to terminate the lease without penalty. Upon 90 days' notice to the landlord, however, the tenant shall remain obligated to pay rent and taxes and so forth. Upon the sale of any portion of property, the lease shall terminate on the portion sold. And there's also the term language up in the front. You want it in there, though, termination language for
Yeah,
the city.
it's different. I want it from the city standpoint, that in the event that we don't enter into the development agreement, and we can extend past what the deadline is, that it automatically gives us the right to terminate the lease.
Within a reasonable, acceptable time.
Can I
Yeah.
ask a question about it, or do something? Okay. What would happen if they got subleases between now and then, though?
That language would have to be in the subleases as well.
The amendment that Eric is, or Councilmember Seidel is proposing?
Subject to the provisions of the main lease with the city. So yes, the termination language have to follow through into the subleases.
Bruce, what are your thoughts on that and the time frame that would be reasonable? I mean, I think we talked about this at the workshop the other day, is that the ability to sublease is somewhat handcuffed, if you will, by any restrictions or restrictions on it that say you could sign a lease today, but in 2 months.
Yeah, I don't
we
know
could-
anybody that would sign
You
that.
could be kicked out. I don't know.
Well, I mean, I think it's an option, and I think, what Council Member Seidel has proposed is adding a clause or a sentence or two, really, that, in the event that a development agreement is not executed between the parties by August 31st, September 30th, whatever, some date like that, August, September, that this lease agreement is terminated, is basically what
The
you're
city has the ability to
proposing.
terminate,
We have the right to.
because we may choose
Oh,
not
okay,
to.
yeah,
We may choose.
okay.
I'm fine with that. I don't want it to say that it does.
So I'll make that in the way of a motion to approve the lease as it's presented with the amendment, that we add a clause that gives us the ability to terminate the lease at our option in the event that we do not enter into a development agreement by September 30th.
And I
I
think
made that in the way of a motion, Mr. Mayor.
that's a motion. Do I have a second for that? And we can discuss a second to move it forward, otherwise it dies.
I'll second it so we can move it forward.
Okay. First, a motion and a second, and discussion on that. I guess my thought on it is that we don't know the factors that will be in place come July, September, August, September. If we're close and there are subleases that are signed that look like we're moving forward, we may opt not to invoke that clause. Is that kind of your?
Yeah, I mean, I
intent?
think some citizens and business owners in the community might say, hey, you don't have a development. I would have loved to lease that building for $2 a year and got the ability to lease it out and make money from it. We're only doing this in part because we understand that we want him in there. We want these things to happen, but it's giving us a backdoor in the event that things don't go as we plan.
But don't forget, he's paying the taxes and he's paying the utilities.
Yeah, but that's a good point, though.
It's
Who
insignificant.
would not want to lease that building for
Right.
$2 a month? Yeah.
Thoughts?
I'll do it.
No, you won't. You're on the council.
Anyhow, that's,
We have a motion and a second. What do you think, Councilmember Saraki? Any thoughts?
I think it's a win-win. If we have to put that in there, I'm okay with it.
Since he's here,
I was going to ask Mr. May if you would like to come, and this does affect you to some extent. Obviously, I think you can understand our position to some extent as well.
Absolutely. Steve Gourmet, 713 Bayshore.
You don't like to bend over or what?
Actually, thanks again to the council. I really appreciate this opportunity. I'm going to do everything I can to move this project forward. The schedule that I outlined really back in August of 2014 included that interim step of providing me some office space. And the discussion as we talked about kind of evolved into the whole building, that the idea is we're going to tear down the building, so I'm the best guy to get in there and tell you when to tear it down. And I think I might have started it somehow by saying, don't tear any buildings down. I've seen a lot of clients do that,
Right.
And the markets change very quickly. So
What about to the amendment to the lease agreement that Commissioner or Councilmember Seidel mentioned about the ability for, there are clauses already in there for the tenant to terminate the lease, but there was no provision in there for the landlord or the city to terminate it. Are you fine with us adding some verbiage similar to?
there's kind of two prongs. Is this thing off?
Yeah.
One is, I just really want the office space because it's very important to the project and very important to the community to show the presence, so everybody noted, right? The rest of it, I was going to work with Jerry Custon and John Buse's organization to get the best people we can. And those subleases are not my primary focus. I'll provide them, you'll get a shot at them. If you like them, you'll approve them. And if you want to kick me out and keep them, you'll have that option at some point, right? Obviously, if the project doesn't go forward, I'm going to lose a lot of money.
You're not going to want to stay there.
Well, I'm not going to want to stay there, but obviously the building has some commercial value, but I'm not going into it with that. It's not my focus. If it was, I'd be working in a whole different direction, and the building is somewhat hampered by the fact that it's limited in use, right? So anybody would rent that front lot.
Sure.
If I could put a car lot out there, we could split the money. I don't really...
Specifically to the motion that's on the floor right now, you're fine with that as a provision?
I am. I think that, we have to talk about that and the timing of all that and whether or not I should even pursue any subleases or I should just move into 1,200 feet of the 50,000 and not worry about the rest.
And I think we're going to know in the coming months the direction that this boat is headed. So.
Absolutely. And that's only going to help us all to make that move. And I appreciate the council's consideration on that. So.
Okay. Thank you. Any other comments or discussion on and what was the motion again? Till, what did we give it till?
September 30th.
September 30th. But it just gives us the right to invoke that.
And what is the date deadline on the MO?
End of
July 27th or 28th.
So a month, 2 months after?
2 months after.
Why that long? I would think that if we moved it up a little bit, it would be more attractive to any subleases.
Yeah, I mean, I'm fine with the 2 months.
I would say, maybe not the end of September, maybe the end of August, a month after the.
Yeah, but if we sign a development agreement prior to that, then this clause is
That
irrelevant.
clause is
It's irrelevant.
obsolete.
Yeah.
And I don't know that it's going to happen on July 21st, but it may happen August. It may happen. I'm fine with that. I mean, the same thing happens with real estate contracts. We extend it a little bit beyond what we think it is, just so we're not going back and forth again. Otherwise, we got to come back and do this all over again.
Right.
Motion and a second.
Can I ask Tom a question?
Yes.
Do you think legally we're okay? Like, we're not going to get in any trouble with any subleases that are going to sue because they didn't, they didn't understand or that wasn't clear or anything like that?
It's in there for some reason.
Yeah, it's a contractual obligation, so no, I don't feel that there's any additional liability so long
Okay.
as we review the subleases and approve them before they're actually executed by the tenant or subtenant.
Motion and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. Passes 4-0. Thank you. Next is our consent docket. 3 items. Approve the minutes of the February 3rd, 2015 City Council meeting. Approve payment to legal counsel and waive bidding requirements and approve purchase of starting gates for the BMX track. 3 items on there, and I think we all discussed with Bruce the reason for the waiving is because there's really only one provider of starting gates that are acceptable to USA BMX, so that is the reason for asking for the waiving. Anybody wish to pull anything? If not, I need a motion.
So moved.
Motion, second. Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Passes 4-0. Thank you very much. Next is City of Oldsmar, and it's the presentation of the Council Manager Award, which I am very excited to do. Brother Eddie, Coach Jordan, and Coach Alex, if you could come up, please. This is great. Check. There we go. This is a great honor that the City Council gets to do. We rotate this periodically, and we acknowledge either a business or a particular resident or somebody that has made a difference in the City of Oldsmar and the community. Recently, the Chamber of Commerce, myself, the city manager, did a We Mean Business, and we normally go to 3 businesses and then a restaurant to talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly in the City of Oldsmar. Well, I thought that maybe it was appropriate that we went to the schools in the City of Oldsmar because technically they're a business and they're very important to the community. And so we went to Forest Lakes Elementary, Oldsmar Elementary, and Oldsmar Christian. And I got to tell you, we've done some great visits, but I got to say that going to the 3 schools and then all of us went to lunch afterward and really got a chance to talk about the education and the importance of education, not only for the city, but for the schools and how the city can help and what we can do to be a better partner with the schools, all of the schools. And so after that, we got invited, I think that Friday night, the chamber president and myself, to come to Oldsmar Christian and watch the varsity basketball team, which I got to tell you, I haven't been in a high school gym in many, many, many years. Probably 4. No, I'm just kidding. But it was great. we got to also tour the school as part of our We Mean Business. And I'll let you talk a little bit about the school and the program and you about the varsity. But I know I was impressed when we came to Oldsmar Christian about the discipline that you instill in the students and the respect that the students have, not only for the school, but for the teachers. And they appreciate the opportunity to be a part of Oldsmar Christian. And, you know, I've raised kids and I've been to schools before and I've been part of Great American Teach-Ins. And I was shocked, to be honest, when we came there and how well behaved everybody is, how much respect they give the teachers in the school. And it was really a really great thing to see. And so then when it came time to do the city manager award, we had talked, myself and the city clerk staff had been talking about the varsity basketball team, because of course we came and we kind of followed how you guys did throughout the season. And when I was asked who I wanted to do, it was without thought that I said, you know, Oldsmar Christian varsity basketball team, because I want to read just some of the accomplishments that they did. The varsity basketball team, those guys are here. If you want to bring them up, you can, or we can wait and you can introduce them. Best start in school history, 19-1. Finished with the best overall record in school history, 35-4. The longest winning streak in school history, 15 wins in a row. First time ever winning the SIAA conference record, 11-1. First time ever winning the SIAA Conference Player of the Year and Coach of the Year. First time ever being nationally ranked 25th in the preseason, and they reached a high of 17th in the nation. 2 players signed with the University of Wyoming on full Division I scholarships. Most nationally ranked players on the OCS team in history. Won the Great Florida Shootout in Kissimmee. 3 players are receiving Academic Achiever Awards from OCS, and he finished the season ranked in the top 5 in Florida, regardless of class. How about a big hand for them and their over to Brother Eddie to talk a little bit about the school and then introduce your great coaches, and they can introduce your players.
Okay, thank you, Mayor Beavis, and it was a real pleasure to get to meet the people that came to visit with us, the dignitaries that came, and I must really, there's no way I can leave here without saying how much that we appreciate all of you guys. I've been coming to Oldsmar Baptist Church since I think about 1971, so I've watched a tremendous change in this city. And I believe that I could safely say this to anyone, that what you guys have is what we have is a model city right here. All of the tremendous growth and development, that could not have happened without a lot of chaos, but you guys have done a great job, and we want to commend you also. Thank you for having a place where we can have Oldsmar Christian School in the middle of it, and we appreciate everything that you do, everything. Well, I don't know too much to say about the school other than we've been there for about 35 years. We have not, even our basketball team, we really don't promote it. It is said by some of the people in Oldsmar that it's one of the best kept secrets in Oldsmar that there is a team of this caliber right here in the small city of Oldsmar. And I'm proud of these guys, and we are a church, but yet we have a school. And I'm going to say this in behalf of these coaches right here. These guys are some of the best coaches that you've ever been around. They are incredible coaches. And if I told you the salary that they made, you guys would probably carry me out of here and tar and feather me. But these guys, what they do it because the Lord has called and put this call upon their heart. The program that we have, I'll tell you about my basketball experience. I've never played basketball in my life other than one basketball game, and that's when I became the principal of the school. We had an alumni game with the staff. I had never played basketball in my life. I walked out on the court, and the guy said, "Brother Eddie," and he shot the basketball at me. I'd never caught a basketball in my life. He broke my little finger. And the next day, we had to play basketball. So I really enjoyed my first game, really. But I am not really into basketball, but I am into young people. That's what this is all about. It's somewhat of an expensive program, but it's amazing how the Lord provides for the things that we do, and I won't get into all of the details of it, but some of these boys that are here, they're not even from the state of Florida here. They're from other states, and they are one of the best teams that you guys probably have ever watched in high school. I can tell you this. And I'm going to turn this over to these coaches because I'm a preacher, if you can't tell it. Once we get to going, it's hard to turn the faucet off. But I'm going to let them just share with you. And as I said, these guys are sacrificing to do what they do. What we actually pay them wouldn't even pay their gas to go back and forth to the games. They're doing it because it's in their heart. The Lord has said, "You're going to be the coaches of my basketball team," and they can't argue with him, so I'm going to let them go ahead and speak.
First of all, I just want to say thanks for having us tonight. Just really appreciate, the city's support. Really, really do. I went to high school at Oldsmar. I grew up around the area. I love the area. I went off to college. I came back. I moved somewhere else, came back. I just keep coming back and keep coming back. Yeah. It's the pay. But really, we're really blessed to be able to, be a part of Oldsmar Christian School. Brother Eddie deals and tolerates with all of us. He does a very, very sympathetic guy for a lot of things that I won't go into. But we're really, really, really blessed to be able to be here, and be a part of everything that's going on. And I don't really have much else to say other than thank you. And we're going to keep, continue to represent Oldsmar the best we possibly can, and Oldsmar Christian School, the best of our ability. Yeah, would you want me to call them one by one, or do you want me to?
Well, if you yell all their names at once.
Yeah, I'll say name and grade. Dante Bassett, who's a junior. Sure. Andrew Momeka, that's a senior going to University of Wyoming. Justin James, who won Player of the Year, also going to University of Wyoming. LJ Figueroa, that's a sophomore. Arius Burgess, that's a senior. Eric Hester, that's a junior. Carlos Acevedo, that's a junior. Isaiah Jenkins, that is a sophomore. Kyle Clark, that was a senior. Tino Petrovic, that is a freshman. Michael Hubbard, that is also a sophomore. Thank you again so much for having us.
When we did the We Mean Business, when we went into the classrooms, it was blatantly clear which guys were the basketball team because their knees were jammed up underneath those desks. So it was hysterical. It's like, yep, that's the basketball team. So thanks for coming tonight, and congratulations on a great year. We want to get a couple of pictures. Let me give this, and you guys can fight over it. It's the Council Manager Award of Recognition presented to Oldsmar Christian School Boys Varsity Basketball Team, April 2015. I'll give it to the coach. Congratulations.
How are they going to get all those kids in there?
Everybody's standing back.
Duck down.
Six, seven or better. Oh my God.
Doug, that means you're not in the back.
And then we got our, I don't know how we're going to do this, but we'll put as many of the as our candidates. This is our Oldsmar postcard that we send all over the country. Let's see, looks cool. So, somebody grab a handle. We'll get in there. Get in around. Thanks. Thank you guys so much. If you guys have to be somewhere else, I know you guys will run into conflict. Feel free to leave if you have to go somewhere else. That was great. Once again, congratulations, and what a great program, and we're glad to have it right here in the city of Oldsmar. Our next item is the presentation of the Homer Brunson Ward Schrecengost Governmental Award. I will be doing that, and if we could start the video, that'd be great. Hold on, Steve.
'91, and what it was for, it was for a one of our workers here in the city that was chosen by their peers to win the Ward Schrecengost Homer Brunson Award. And what the award is, it serves two purposes. One, to recognize an outstanding worker here that works for the city of Oldsmar. And the other, what it serves is that Ward Schrecengost and Homer Brunson were both council members here in the city of Oldsmar. Ward Schrecengost served as mayor for 16 years. His last year on the council serving was 1970. I had the privilege of serving with him on his last year. And Homer Brunson served 11 years as a council member and 1 year as a mayor. And this serves two purposes: to honor Ward Schrecengost and Homer Brunson, and to honor one of the incredible workers we have in the city of Oldsmar.
Thank you, former Mayor Jerry Beaverland, for doing that. It is a great honor, and as the video said, this is something that the council does not pick. We have no role in this. This is done by the 140-plus employees that work for the city of Oldsmar, and they pick somebody that has not only made a difference for the city, but made a difference for the community and for the employees within the city. So, Stephen, congratulations, and thanks for being here tonight. I'll read you a little bit about why he was nominated. Stephen has been instrumental in maintaining the city's CRS rating, which provides residents up to 20% in flood insurance saving and businesses up to 10% in flood insurance savings. It obtained her certified floodplain management certification, even though it was not required as part of his job description. He is currently assisting the department director in efforts to increase the CRS rating, which would provide additional savings to residents and businesses of the city of Oldsmar. He is the contact person for any inquiries that come into the city offices regarding flood insurance and building in the floodplain, and most recently is assisting residents in obtaining flood mitigation assistance grants for residents, which of course we just got one, correct? That's awesome. good representative of the city. Stephen worked for over a year with the residents of the city and with the Florida Division of Emergency Management to obtain a Florida Mitigation Assistance Grant for a property that had been frequently prone to damage during hurricanes and flood events. This grant of $238,350 will be used to cover the costs necessary to demolish and rebuild a home for an Oldsmar resident. The grant also includes a management fee of $11,250, which will be paid to the city for managing the grant. During this time period, Stephen represented the city in a professional and positive manner. The effort that was required to obtain the grant involved areas that Stephen was not familiar with, nor part of his normal job duties, such as benefit/cost analysis, grant writing, and grant agreements. And speaking with the state representatives from emergency management, she used the words extraordinary effort, gallant effort, and thoroughly covered all the requirements of the grant to describe Stephen as his contributions to the process. The grant that Stephen obtained is one of 18 grants that the state was able to obtain funding for this program. Exceeding expectations, going above the call of duty. Assisting residents is part of Stephen's job description in Planning and Redevelopment Department, but writing grants and having a grant awarded to a resident along with a management fee from the state is above and beyond the call of duty and exceeds the requirements of the position. Showing a positive attitude and a willingness to assist, Stephen has always been available to assist residents, businesses, and fellow employees when the opportunity arises. He works in the department that has a high amount of external customers, particularly those visiting the building department. During times when there is a shortage of staff, either for vacation, sick, or lunchtime, Stephen always tries to assure that he is available by rearranging his own schedule in order to provide support to the department. He continues to exhibit this level of support for the department while pursuing the grant. How about a big hand for Stephen and all his efforts?
Yeah.
First things first, check. And a paid day off. We'll give it to you once we're done with that development across the street. How about that? You can have it then. Then it's on Steve Germay. No. Homer Brunson Ward Schrecengost Governmental Award presented to Stephen Everett for his outstanding service, dedication, and leadership to the City of Oldsmar 2015 first quarter. Congratulations.
Nice.
Would you like to say something?
Thank you all for this, and
You have great staff down there.
great, yeah, Michelle and Marie and Rick. Thanks for everything.
Congratulations.
Good job. Good job.
That's awesome. Item number 7 on your agenda, we had a conflict in scheduling, so we're going to go ahead and scratch that from tonight. Our next item is a presentation by Holiday Sharing Fund to the Mattie Williams Neighborhood Family Center, and Deputy Sierra's here. I saw him somewhere. And Janet, Commissioner Hooper. Mark Howell from the board. This was something that I'm actually on the board with Mark and Rick and Jerry and Ann and a couple others. And the Holiday Sharing Fund, and I'll let Rick describe it, is really about helping the community. And we discussed the mission statement of the Holiday Sharing Fund and what our mission statement is. And one of the things that we decided as a board was to have a charity help a charity, help a community help a community. And so the Holiday Sharing Fund and the Mattie Williams Foundation helps both Oldsmar and Safety Harbor, and so we wanted, as the Holiday Sharing Fund, to present a check to them. So, Rick?
Like you said, we do want to help communities, but it's not just Oldsmar, Safety Harbor. We're kind of growing outside that realm. We're helping anybody that's in need. It actually started from helping kids that needed bicycles at Christmas time, and we've kind of blossomed a little bit more than that. It was actually Mark's idea that we donate $500 for the Oldsmar summer camp. So it'll be our kids that are going to summer camp through Mattie Williams' house. We want to give them a check for $500.
Janet, if you'd like to say something, that'd be great.
Yeah, I've never been shy, which is why I'm now a commissioner for Safety Harbor, but we're very appreciative. As you know, we serve a lot of children, and most of them are low-income families or people that are struggling and don't know how to get out from under. So we give kids an opportunity to do something and get an additional help with academics so that they have a safe place to play and an opportunity to be successful in the future. So we're very grateful for this. It makes a big difference to the children, and as you know, we come to the elementary school, Oldsmar Elementary, and do an after-school program there already, so we're very grateful. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We appreciate the holiday sharing fund. I've been working with you for, well, the whole 6-7 years now, so we're very appreciative. Thank you.
Thank you. Can we do a picture?
I need to. Do you want to? We can do a picture. Let's do a picture of these. Can we get some of that?
Hey, Doug, can I get a plug-in for July 25th?
Do you have your gun with you?
July 25th is we've renamed our charity softball game from Christmas in July to Guns versus Hoses. So that'll be at Bright House Stadium.
And that's at Bright House Field. It's a great event, and again, it's for a great cause. And they can go to the chamber website, and will they be able to go to myoldsmar.com to find out information about that? At some point, we'll get, once we get it. That's fine. Picture.
I just don't want to be in your picture.
Where'd she go? Oh, she did.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Thanks again. And to the basketball team, we aren't normally full of all kinds of awards, but tonight is a kind of a light night, so we decided to get some of the awards in there. That's all for the City of Oldsmar. Next is our City Attorney.
Yes, Mayor, council members. Item number 9 on your agenda is the second and final reading and public hearing of the Hayes Park Development Agreement revision. You remember that in June of 2013, the City Council approved the development agreement with Hayes Park LLC. Subsequent to that, they have requested a change to Exhibit C. The changes in Exhibit C were to revise the lot takedown, purchase and permit submission schedule, replace the project completion date to December 1st, 2017, and include a provision to allow the city manager, after review by the TRC, the Technical Review Committee, to approve non-substantial changes to the development agreement. In your packet, you'll see what the phasing schedule looks like. This matter was before the Planning Board on April 8th, and they recommended the City Council approve the revised Exhibit C for the development agreement. And so we would need a motion tonight to approve the revision, or the revision to Exhibit C of the development agreement. But before you do that, we need you to open it up for a public hearing.
Yes. This is a public hearing. Does anybody from the public wish to address item 9 regarding Hayes Park Development Agreement? Nobody? Close the public hearing. Need a motion?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Discussion?
No.
No discussion? Call the roll, please.
Councilmember Seidel?
Yes.
Councilmember Saraki?
Yes.
Councilmember Norris?
Yes.
Mayor Beavis?
Yes.
Second and final reading of the Hayes Park Development Agreement is approved with 4 votes for and 0 against.
And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, City Manager.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Item 10, consider request to waive the special event fee for the Hope for Warriors Memorial Day Run. It's scheduled for Monday, May 24th, 2015. The amount of the fee waiver is $1,990. Hope for the Warriors, as you'll recall, presented the program at the Veterans Day ceremony last November at Veterans Memorial Park. And I think the council is familiar with some of their work. This would be the first event that they have held in Oldsmar. If you have any questions or comments, I'd be happy to respond to those.
I think it's a great event. I need a motion to consider the waiver. Motion. Second? Second. Motion and a second.
Tripping all over ourselves tonight.
And a second, looking for a great event. All in favor?
Aye.
Passes 4-0. Thank you.
We're missing Gabby is what it
Yeah,
is.
I'm a rhythm.
The balance is all men over there.
Thank you. Item 11, authorize the city attorney to prepare ordinances establishing city land use and zoning designations on a portion of 736 Shore Drive East. This is a property that was annexed into the city recently, and as I think the council's aware, upon or subsequent to annexation, we apply the city's land use and zoning designations to any annexed property. Of course, that's done by ordinance, and if the council concurs with authorizing the city attorney to prepare those ordinances, then they'd come up for first reading, and there'll be a Snyder hearing at that time. So tonight, we are asking that you authorize the city attorney to prepare ordinances establishing city land use and zoning designations on a portion of 736 Shore Drive East.
Need a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion on this item?
Huh?
Hearing no discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Passes 4-0. Thank you.
Thank you. Mayor and council, item 12, select colors for City Hall exterior. This was continued from the last meeting. Since that time, Councilmember Norris had the proposed colors actually painted on the exterior wall of City Hall. I think you've had a chance to look at those. So,
Yes, we have, and I believe the only question I think that came up, and I think it's a valid one, is obviously if we're the city and we are the writers of the city code, I think we need to make sure that we as a city comply with those. And I think there was some discussion. Councilmember Norris, if you want to say anything or what has happened subsequently or what the discussion was regarding do we comply?
I would love to. Okay, so I took the suggestion of all of the council members had a very good suggestion to tie this building in with the building across the street. So I took the color on this side, the council chambers, and it is called Nantucket Dune. So when you look at the picture of this one, inside the boxes will be the Nantucket Dune, where the tiles are, and where the tiles are at the top. So that ties the two buildings together. The quietude is within the colors that are muted earth tone colors. So the question would be the teal color, the greenish teal color. And so what I did was I went and I matched up the color of the Marriott. And if you see, the color of the Marriott is here. And this is the proposed color for the just the trim on the city council building. So, and I drove all around Oldsmar, and there are greens and there are similar shades, but this one is a little bit more of a teal color. So,
and I think when you look at
it far away, there's not much difference.
No, but when also when you look from across the street and you look at this building that we're in right now, the color of and you mentioned this today, the color of the awning, not only the awning, but the window casings are very similar to the color to our left. Yeah.
Exactly. And so we're not going off of our code. It's earth tone, earth shades. This is a water shade, but we've used them before, and there's similar places that have used it. Now, I believe that we need to broaden our scope for the colors. I know that that's not for this council right now, but I believe that we need to signal to the building community and to people that Oldsmar does not stand for old, stands for Ransom Eli Olds. And so it's time to update some of the colors and still have approval of the council on the colors so we don't get, Barney purple and, fuchsia pink and everything else like that. But the upscale communities all over the country are going to more colors. You drive around Oldsmar and you just want to, like clay, you just want to you get drowned in clay color. And granted, it's nice to have the code, and it's nice to be able to not have people put crazy colors up, and it's nice to be able to approve them. But I think it's time that we update them a little bit and maybe put that on a future, however we do that. I don't know how we do that. But considering that we have approved a similar color in the past, I don't think we're off the mark here.
Okay.
And one more thing. Mm-hmm. When you look at the whole color scheme, it ties the two buildings together. And it also, if you look at the color of the windows, okay, the windows are just windows. But when you look at just the windows, they're reflecting all the green around it. So it really does all blend together. It really does. But it gives it a little bit more youth, a little bit more punch, a little bit more color. And I think that
And I think the comment that I have heard is, to get kind of away from the industrial look
Exactly.
of a city building that, so, I mean.
Employees told me they're sick of the old colors. They're sick of the boring colors. 14 years they've been coming into that building, and they are really looking forward to it. And I didn't hear any of the city employees say they didn't like the colors that were up. So, and I think that's important.
Good. Any discussion, any other input, thoughts?
I think you did a great sales job on that.
Thank you.
Councilmember Seidel, thoughts?
I think that it looks great, the colors that are being presented. I have not a lot of value to add picking colors, but I think it's important the buildings tie out. I don't think the color that's being proposed is something crazy.
Yeah.
It certainly wasn't, maybe if we just said to Linda, hey, you just go decide, it would be different.
Oh, yeah.
But no, I think it looks good.
I actually agreed with you guys' choice of the three because the other two were too bold. They were
Yeah.
too dark and they were too bold. I agreed with that.
So that's all I got, Mr. Mayor.
And all I've got to say is that this process was much easier than selecting carpet for this room. Oh, my God.
Well, you have a painter on the council.
It wasn't even that. It was
art
just,
major.
it was
Challenging.
That was challenging. Good word to use there. That was challenging.
It's definitely something different,
Yeah.
and I think it's a positive.
And I think that, to your point about revisiting, I don't know and Bruce may be able to address this. I know in my neighborhood, and we talked about this morning, we update our color palette periodically to try and stay current with, current home designs and colors and things like that. And we've gone from a very bland tan and brown palette to, we've probably have 40 times the colors that we originally did,
That's the
combinations thereof. So allow a little bit of diversity and things like that. I don't know what the process is for how that gets revisited periodically, or.
There would be an amendment to the town center code. And so, of course, we're going to be talking about the CRA at the
Workshop.
planning conference on the 7th, so it might be worth spending a little bit of time when we're talking about the CRA.
Good idea.
And then the other part is, of course, we do have architectural requirements for the Tampa Road corridor also.
Mm-hmm.
And we actually have some amendments to the Tampa Road corridor in the works right now. So you'll be seeing that probably within the next 60 days. And that would be an opportunity to take a look at that particular point in amending the Tampa Road corridor plan as well.
Perfect. All right.
Yay.
So there we have, what do we need? A motion?
So moved.
Approved? Second?
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passes 4-0. Thank you.
No more brown, no more clay.
Like a kid in a paint shop.
Yes.
Anything else?
That's it for me. Thank you.
City Clerk?
Oh, I don't have anything.
Thank you. City Council is to schedule the conference planning, or the council planning conference, and I believe it's already been scheduled for, what was the date again, Bruce?
May 7th.
May 7th.
Same bat station, same bat time.
Thursday, May 7th. The location is the Brooker Creek Preserve, and it would be 8:30 to 3:30. The plan is to start a little bit earlier and also get out a little bit earlier. So I would encourage you to make every effort to be there at 8:30, and we'll get started a little earlier and leave a little earlier than ordinarily or in the past. So just to make it official, it's Thursday, May 7th.
Bless you.
And it's already on everybody's calendar. And
Yep.
Bruce and I talked about it at our meeting today, and we're going to get a draft. He and I are going to get a draft from the moderator. And in the past couple of years, Eric hasn't been there, but you have been to these before, so you're familiar with the process where you have a moderator. And we felt that this year is a little bit different than the past 2 years. We had some fairly significant projects that we were undertaking and establishing staff priority and things like that. And we feel like the momentum is already there, and I think this is more of a carrying on of that and a tweaking of what we already have, and maybe we add some things. But we had some pretty significant projects with the reverse osmosis and the deep well aquifer injection and, the BMX track. And so those are some pretty big items. So I think we're looking forward to it, and she's done a great job in the past. So looking forward to that, definitely. So May 7th at 8:30. And make sure that you allot enough time to walk from the parking lot to the building.
That's where I got lost.
It's about a 15, oh yeah, you were there last year. Yeah, it's about a 15-minute walk. So Next item, and I meant to mention this earlier, and I apologize to Vice Mayor McGee. She is not able to be here today. She had a previous commitment, and we've already have her scheduled for an excused absence. I just need a motion.
So moved.
Need a second. Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Passes 5-0, 4-0. Thank you. Comments by council members. Councilmember Norris.
Okay, I want to let everybody know that this week is National Park Week until the 25th. So go to a park, go to one of our beautiful parks. We don't have a national park, but we don't have a national park, do we?
Not in Oldsmar.
It is National Park Week, so if you can make it to a national park, that would be great. I wanted to say kudos to Deb Pauley.
She just left.
She just
Unless
left.
she's back
Okay,
there.
so she'll have to watch this on TV. In just reading her report, the views on all of the social media, or the views of people coming to the City of Oldsmar webpage went up like 2,000 views. And the majority of what people are looking at, 70% of what people are clicking on, are activities, parks, anything to have to do with recreation. And that is wonderful because the word is getting out that Oldsmar is a beautiful place to come and play. We already have a lot of people that work here, a lot of people that live here, so the more people that come and play and see how beautiful our town is, the more businesses are going to make money and everything. And it really stuck out to me because it went up like a couple thousand, almost a couple thousand within a month. Now, Bruce explained to me that one of the reasons is probably the Oldsmar Days Festival and everything else. So I'll keep looking at it, but it's just, I've never seen it go up that much. So I just wanted to say that's really nice to see.
And just to that point, I mean, I think a lot of it, and compliments to our city clerk and Deb for the new website. I mean, I think the ease of navigation and the ability to change and modify data with a new website that's been, what, 4 or 5 months maybe? Is it even that long?
It was last fall.
Last fall. I mean, I think that really facilitates people being able to navigate it a lot better. So
That's a good point.
Yeah, so.
I mean, there were 3,581 clicks or views for Parks and Recreation and everything, and 1,493 for utility administration and council and stuff like that. And it was really, I really like that. And then a little bird whispered in my ear. I won't say who the bird was. I won't reveal their identity, but it was a suggestion that Mr. Centennial here, that when we have our centennial, that we pledge to plant 100 trees for the centennial. And I will pledge that I can get some donated from nurseries. So if we can find places around town next year when it's the centennial, Lynn, to plant 100 new trees, I think that would be a wonderful thing to do.
I think it's a great
We all
idea.
pledge to go get 10 trees. Look at that. We'll have 100 trees in
I think it's a great
no
idea.
time.
It's a great way to get the community involved too. I think.
And people we can even name the trees after the people that donate them or whatever, but it would be so cool to plant 100 new trees.
Plant them all in Jerry Beaverland's yard.
You can plant them in my yard. So that, and then it was really cool. We planted, well, we didn't, okay. On the council, we get a picture with a shovel and dirt and everything looking like we're planting trees, but we showed up and 5 live oak trees were already planted.
You were not supposed to say that. We planted those trees.
Okay, well, maybe I was a little late with Dan, so y'all planted them before I got there. But anyway, it was really cool because we planted them. We planted them at the water plant to give kind of a buffer between Wellington estates, and so that was kind of cool for Arbor Day tomorrow.
Yep.
No,
Earth Day.
Earth Day.
Sorry.
I should have known that. Earth Day tomorrow. And happy belated birthday to former Mayor Beaverland. It was his birthday yesterday, I believe.
Nice.
Yes, and that's it.
That's it. Thank you. Councilmember Seidel.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just a couple of things. At the last meeting, I had asked Deputy Long for some input on some ideas, and Bruce and I had spoke about it in the last couple of days, and we're going to kind of circle back around that in the future, kind of look at some stats. So we got a little more teeth there, so I just thought I'd mention that. The other thing that I wanted to do is take the opportunity to give a kudos to Marie's department. You know, when you get into pulling permits and inspections and all of that, you know, quite candidly, that's the department that has to say no the most. You know, that, I'm sorry, you can't do that. No, that's not within the code. Or, no, you know, they're the messenger all the time. And so we've been doing some work on kind of, I guess, revisiting some of the code and some of the code violations that are out there lately, specifically to sign ordinances. And I have one of our vendors who expressed some real concern to me. They were upset. I encouraged them to get with Marie, and he came in and met with Marie and Rick, and I saw him the next day, and he just raved. I mean, it didn't change the code, but I think that he just really appreciated the extra effort that the department went to make him feel respected and understand and took the time to meet with them. And so I just wanted to give a kudos there, because I think that sometimes you get beat up a little bit, and so when somebody goes out of their way to congratulate them, it's certainly worth noting. So there you have it. The other item that I was just going to comment on, I promise I won't always be giving kudos, but I have to. I had the opportunity, and I think some other people on council met with him as well. Adam from Rockstar. Who's a new new restaurant that's coming into town, specializes in kind of health food, and so in any event, I had met with him. Similar kind of thing, had to do with signs, whatever. He called, wanted to meet with the council people, I guess. He's new to the area. But I have to give kudos, and he's very pleased, by the way, but I have to give kudos, because when I was talking to him, I said, so we're excited you're coming to Oldsmar. What made you decide to come to Oldsmar? He said, Linda Norris.
Thank you.
He said, Linda Norris, he said, you know, she would come in, and every time he's moving from Palm Harbor, and every time she was in there, she would always say to me, you really ought to think about Oldsmar if you ever want to expand or move somewhere else. So I thought that was kind of cool, and it sends a good message to all the council members about being ambassadors. And so,
thank you.
Nice job. That's all I got, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Councilmember Saraki.
Just a few things, Mayor. I met with Adam also, and he mentioned the same thing, Linda. Great job bringing him in here.
He told me how great you guys were at helping him with the emails, because I went, I don't know, a year ago or so, and I went in a couple times, and then he'd always call me for questions and stuff. But there were times when you guys had better expertise on something. You know much more about business things, Eric, than I do, and, you know, you're promoting and everything. So he mentioned to me how much you guys helped. So it was a team effort. I invited him to come, and I kept telling him, we need good food and, you know, vegan food, bring it over, bring it over. But if it wasn't for everybody helping out and, you know, everything he's doing at the building department, everything, the chamber, I introduced him to Jerry. I don't think it would have been so smooth. So.
Well, the cool thing, it's all organic.
Yeah.
And my wife is just ecstatic about organic food. So the second thing is, I love your idea about the 100 trees.
Yes.
And you said you have a little bird. I think you and your little bird should take on that process and help the Centennial Task Force, and you could be in charge.
Got it. I'll do it.
Done.
That is shameless.
I'll be the 100 tree.
I can only do so much.
I'll be the 100 tree lady.
The last thing, Friday, I went to the 4-hour ethics law requirement by the state of Florida, and I have to tell you, I'm glad that's over. The room was completely packed. There was no seat in sight, and you have to stay in the room for 4 hours, and you guys have to go, and you will love it.
And
I'm going on the 20th, so get there early to get a seat.
Yes.
And it's on our schedule. This is pretty much the only chance we have to take it, or else we got to travel to
Vero Beach or Miami.
And I don't want to do that. So this is the only.
So that's the last chance you got.
And it's mandatory.
So we'll all have to get there early. You're the only one that did it, so all four of us will be in the next class.
I was shocked that no one else was there. Safety Harbor was there. Everyone from Tarpon Springs was there. And I was like, where's Oldsmar? I'm the only one here.
We need to go, but we don't need ethics as much. We've already got them. So go to class for it. I don't know.
Oh, there you go. All right, and that's it,
Always
Mayor.
something
Thank
new
you.
to learn, though.
Thank you. Thank you. I don't have a lot. Myself and Lynn Reeves are leaving tomorrow. The National League of Cities has invited us to Fort Lauderdale. It's Let's Move Cities, Towns, and Counties. It's a training course down there put on by the National League of Cities. So we'll fly down there tomorrow, and the class is Thursday. And I'm not sure what we'll come back with, but I'll definitely let you know how that goes. And other than that, I don't have a whole lot, other than the fact that you finally got hot, huh?
Right. Yeah, I had to take that coat off.
I actually am going to pull a Jerry Beaverland. I have one more thing.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay. I forgot to say that this Thursday we're awarding, myself and Karen Beal from Parks and Rec are going to go to USF and award the commission, not award the commissions, but let the art students that won the competition for the public art project. They're making a whole ordeal of it with, department heads and everything being there, and they're going to try to get the Oracle and USF there. and he's planning the whole class around it. And Ann and Kathy made up some nice little gift bags and certificates and letters that we all, and the letters are wonderful because each letter shows individually a paragraph about their individual presentation. And I'm really excited about it because just like the mayor was saying and everybody's saying, that these partnerships with these students is wonderful. So.
And I talked to Bruce about it again today because you and I had talked this morning about while we were slaving away planting those trees, that the professor had actually talked about making another curriculum because he didn't know that we were actually going to pick people.
Yeah.
And Bruce agreed that it's a great idea if they want to do it and partner with us again, to let them do it. You know, and there are always potential projects that we could have that. Whether it's out of art in public places or something, who knows how much of the money we're going to spend.
There's got to be money attached to it, though, for it to be right. Okay, because he was surprised. He was a little surprised. He's happy. Yeah. He's very happy.
But I think it also sets the bar for the next class that it's not just, you're not just going for a grade. You know, this is the potential to, you know, tie your name to something.
Yeah, I think it's great for the city.
Exactly.
Yeah, and so at any rate, if nobody has anything else, Bruce, Tom, Ann, Kathy? If not, I need a motion for the Cinco de Mayo agenda. Moved. Second?
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Sorry, bang. Got anxious.